put on the Christmas music, but I don't know if maybe kind of distracted. So there's the radio right there. But there's a commercial on a second ago, so I'm not going to put it on. Okay, so here's a cool experience I had. Let's see. Printed out some pictures. Really not very cold, but I guess I'll put this on. Oh, okay. It's not that cold outside, really. 44. Okay, so this was like when was it? Monday, November 18th. Oh yeah, I was asking for an experience. This was like November 18th, and I was sleeping in the back bedroom, and yeah, so I was in bed and I was asking for an experience by Joel, and here's what I get, but I don't know if Joel was just posing as this Neanderthal being, or if if it really was a different being. I guess it really could have been a different being. Okay, so this is how it goes down. Okay, so like I say, it was November 18th, probably around 5 to 6 a.m. in the morning, because I get up about 7 or whatever. And Tora, you're gonna distract me. And okay, this is what what the deal was. I felt it being like what do you call it? Like crowding me and stuff, and like all in the bed with me and everything. He was really crowding me and all in the bed. And so, okay, at that point, I guess I was kind of already maybe out of body. Yeah, I obviously was already out of body a little bit, Otherwise, I wouldn't have felt him like that. So he was like all up in the bed and crowding me and stuff, but I don't think he was trying to be a pervert or anything. But and I think what the deal was, I kind of got scared or something. So then it was kind of like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like I went out of body again over to the side of the bed, the right of the bed, and then I looked, and it's like I should have already been laying there, but I don't remember seeing my body or anything. And okay, and then I see this being, like, this being was like like this, like on top of the bed, sort of. And so I was witnessing it after I kind of like went out of body again, because I think what the deal was, I was kind of like scared, I guess, because I did get an experience, and I knew I was kind of like in an experience and everything, and the being was just like crowding me and all over me and stuff. And I guess that's why I kind of got scared, so I kind of like went out of body again, or what's that called, or bilocated or whatever. And then I was looking, and he was over here, and he was like I saw him like kind of go up and down like that. I don't know what he was doing exactly. Ow, tore it. I don't know. Sorry, baby. I don't know what he was doing exactly. You can't get on my legs like that. Sweetheart, what you doing? It's okay, baby. She wants to cuddle with me. And yeah, but this being, oh yeah, and then I was like, Joel, are you going to show me what you look like? Are you going to show me what you look like? Because I do that a lot in the experiences now. When I know Joel is giving me an experience, I'll be like, are you going to show me what you look like? I was telling him that, are you going to show me what you look like? And so apparently it was either Joel posing as this being, or it really was a different being. Because just because you ask for an experience by a certain being doesn't mean, you're going to get an experience from that being. Lots of times other beings will show up. Okay, so this is the first time I've ever had an experience with this kind of a being. But so then when I kind of like, I guess, either hopped out of body again or I just moved myself over here, and then I was looking, and he looked like a Homo erectus, Neanderthal, a Bigfoot type of creature, but more like a Homo erectus, Neanderthal person, being. And so, like I say, naturally, since I was asking for an experience by Joel, because he gives me most of my experiences, naturally I thought that, it was probably Joel posing as this being. But now I'm thinking it, really could have been this other being. But I've never had an experience with this type of being before. But like I say, it looked like, this is the closest I could find on the internet. See, I'd say more like this, except I don't remember like a lot of like a whole lot of hair. I remember more like kind of short hair. I don't remember him having this big old long hair or anything. But oh my God, his what do you call it? Eyebrow ridges or whatever were like way out here. He was clearly a Neanderthal ape monkey type of alien, but not really. But the closest people would call them probably is a Bigfoot alien. But this is kind of what he looked like when I went out body, like again, or I moved myself over here, and then I was witnessing him, and I was like, before that I was like, Joel, are you gonna show me what you look like? Are you gonna show me what you look like? And then I was I was observing him, like as if he was still doing something to me, but I was already like, I had already moved myself over here, astrally or whatever. Or maybe I just split myself twice. I don't necessarily remember myself laying there and seeing myself, but it's like he was still trying to do something to me or something, even though I already kind of bilocated or went out of body again. And then I was witnessing him kind of like going up and down like that, on my bed, like stomach first or whatever. And like I said, this is the closest I could, find, like this. But like I say, this dude has a whole lot of hair. I don't remember him having a lot of hair, kind of shorter hair, not like way down here or anything. But that would be, and I printed out this, but that's not, I don't think that's, it's more, he more looked like this. I printed out this creature, but he was more like this one right here. And of course, as I was looking at him, his face was down like this, because, he was, his head was down like this. And so when I was looking at him, I noticed the real monkey features on him. But I would say, let's see. I would say he was a little more, a little more creature looking than this. If, more creature looking than this, I would say. A little more, just, I don't know, demonic creature looking, I would say. But that's kind of similar. And I've never had an experience like this with this kind of being, but I don't feel like he was being a pervert or anything. But that was the first thing that happened was I was asking for an experience, and then all of a sudden I just felt something in my bed, and it was just kind of like crowding me and all over me and on top of me and stuff. And I think that's when I kind of got scared, and I don't know if I really got scared, but I bilocated again or moved myself over. But anyway, that's what I look like. Neanderthal alien. I don't know if you can see it. I guess you can. I don't know if I have the camera right or what. I gotta go take a bath. I don't know if I want to talk forever. But I've been having lots of experiences, but then I had a gluten intolerance episode, and for some reason, that stress the stress of knowing, it could have been partly, I don't know, partly the gluten, but I think it was just stress, because stress will activate my hypoglycemia. And anyway, it activated my hypoglycemia about, when was it? Friday? Well, this Friday will be 2 weeks. So I wanted to do these videos much earlier, you know, but then I had that little episode, my hypoglycemia episode, because of the stress of knowing that I can't ever eat gluten again. So I guess that would just really stress me out. Well, it was that Sunday night when I started having really bad, and I did get an experience, that Monday, November 18th, I still got an experience on November 18th. That was before my hypoglycemia episode. It's November 17th when I had the really bad, like stomach pain, really, really, really bad. And that's when I knew I couldn't ever eat gluten again. That's fucked up. And I read about gluten and stuff. I mean, and it will fuck you up bad. I mean, it's bad shit. I mean, supposedly, I mean, it harms people even if they don't think they're gluten intolerant. Even if they don't have symptoms or anything, it still can cause all sorts of shit. I'm convinced that gluten is very, very, very bad. And they told me I was gluten intolerant, 2 years ago. I mean, she did, my doctor, and I just didn't believe her. Because I always thought it was a bullshit disease. But anyway, that stressed me out so bad, it activated my hypoglycemia. But why did it not happen until when I woke up on Friday? I have no idea, because it didn't happen till that Friday. It was November 17th when I was at the bookstore and I ate 2 pieces of pumpkin, gluten bread, wheat bread, sweet bread, and then it had, vital wheat gluten added to it and everything. And I ate 2 pieces like about an hour apart. And my stomach was like pulsating, like, and like I say, I'm gonna have to do a separate video on that because I've had there's lots of symptoms that goes on with gluten intolerance. So anyway, my hypoglycemia was activated on that Friday morning. I'm starting to feel better now though. But basically Thursday I shouldn't have done it, but I used to eat those zone bars and I ate I don't know, I figured I would still maybe okay eating it, and I ate 2/3 of it, and then I don't know, I think I just started to get nervous because I knew it had on the ingredient wheat nugget. The nuggets were covered in wheat, and I started getting dizzy, but I'm always dizzy 24/7. After I eat sugar, I'm always dizzy. I don't think that's what the problem was, but I did feel like I was starting to get irritable bowel syndrome, and I actually went home early at 1:30 because I think I got nervous because I ate it and everything. 2/3 of the zone bar, a protein bar that I've been eating for years, but actually they kind of taste like shit anyway. I know they were better back when I bought them in 2012, but they keep changing things week by week and everything starts tasting crappy. I mean, by the week, it just goes downhill every week, and then you just can't eat it anymore because it tastes so gross. But so, yeah, they've definitely gone downhill since 2012 or whatever, but I can't buy them anymore now anyway, I'm glad. Okay, so, yeah, so, I don't know. I mean, you'd think it would have started on Monday morning. I don't know why it waited to start till Friday morning, the hypoglycemia fit. But it's just freaking stress. But at least when I get stress, when I get my hypoglycemia activated by non-physical, the recovery time is really fast, as opposed to trying to screw myself up physically. Then it takes freaking 6 months or a year to heal up. Like that stupid doctor that put acupuncture, on my head and everything. God, that screwed me up for like a year. Because that was physical. Okay, so that was one experience I had on November 18th. And then I had this other out-of-body experience, lucid dream. It was really cool. I was like in England, and the funny thing was, we were walking around for hours and hours and hours. It was me, my sister, like 5 friends. There was a couple males, couple females, and we were just walking around this like big, almost like a big or actually a small little neighborhood in England. And then, for whatever reason, I went inside this real fancy house. It wasn't a mansion, but it was a fancy big house, one level. And I was sitting there with this woman talking like forever with her. And I can't even remember what we were talking about because, like I say, I would remember more if I would have done them earlier. But it was this woman that I just saw, like, I don't know, she looks about 75, something like that. It was this woman up at the bookstore, the aliens, she's like a regular. The aliens placed her in my scenario. and I was like at her house, and she had a really luxurious house. It was pretty big, but it wasn't a mansion. It was really big and fancy, and I was just sitting there like as if she was my friend or something. We were sitting at the table talking, and I think we were eating too. But anyway, so that was kind of a fun experience, and my sister was in the scenario. There was, as far as I remember, the dog, I'm trying to figure, I think it was Samson that was in the scenario. Samson was a dog my sister used to have, a poodle. He was like walking around with us. And like I said, this lucid dream went on for hours and hours and hours. I actually had one this morning too, that I was in the Battlefield Mall. We were walking around for hours and hours and hours. I was with my mom and my sister, and there was a few other people. And it was more, like lucid dream, out-of-body experience, lucid dream. But anyway, I came upon and I even had an image of the man that left it. He left his wallet in the bleachers in the middle of the mall, and I went over there, and I think my sister was already sitting down, and I think my mom was up about to get something to eat or something at the little restaurant or whatever. And so I picked up the wallet. The aliens do this a lot. They like give me wallets and shit in my scenarios. So I picked up the wallet, and I wasn't about to turn it in or anything. I was gonna keep it. But the wallet, it had at least 50, 75 bucks in there. I looked in there, and it was a good $50 to $75. But I was gonna keep it and everything. They've done that a lot, like give me wallets and crap in my scenario. And then I had a vision of the man who actually, accidentally left it in the bleachers, or whatever you call them, the little chairs in the middle of the mall. And I don't know, he was about 59 years old. But he was like a businessman. And but I was gonna keep it and everything. But I don't actually remember. I don't, if I actually put the wallet in my pocket or anything. But it was a fun lucid dream. And so anyway, back to this England one. This was kind of funny part. But like I said, this lasted, 6-7 hours walking around in this neighborhood and doing all these things. And anyway, the funny thing was, at one point, I was walking along with my sister. We were outside in the neighborhood, outside of that woman's big old fancy house. And there was a big, like, fence over there. It was like what do you call it? Metal, iron fence. And I was like, Chrissy, we should go to Paris. Paris is just right over there. And so, we were walking over towards that direction. But it's just kind of funny because Paris was just right across that wall, so to speak. That iron fence. And I think I did have Paris and England on the brain or whatever, because I think I was thinking about that Ratatouille cartoon or whatever. It's funny how the aliens put all these little details together. Okay, that was one fun lucid dream. Okay, and this one, now this was not a lucid dream. This was a complete out-of-body experience, virtual reality experience, and it didn't last a long time. It was pretty fast. Well, it's my lucid dreams that last for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. The out-of-body experience, virtual reality experiences, normally they don't feel like, they don't last hours and hours and hours and hours. They feel more like 3D, but some of them could still feel kind of like you're in another dimension, kind of lucid dreamy. But Joel pretty much gives me experiences. Most of the time they feel like complete 3D or semi 3D, where it still kind of feels like you're in another dimension, but it doesn't feel real lucid dreamy, so to speak. Okay, so Yeah, and this was just about a week ago. It was on no, it was on a Saturday morning. Yeah, last Saturday. So it was like 12 days ago. And this was out-of-body experience, out-of-body experience, virtual reality experience, and this one, yeah, I was asking Joel for an experience. Yeah, he's been giving me a lot on Saturdays for some reason. Yeah, yeah, that's because he has a complex now. Because it keeps seeming like, you know, like, why don't you give me experiences on the weekend, you know? So now he's been giving me all sorts of experiences on the weekend. What was that one experience I had? Oh yeah, well that was I think a month ago or longer. But yeah, he gave me the highly sexual one. Oh, that may have been a couple months ago. He gave me some good sex a couple months ago on a Saturday. Yeah, that may have been a couple months by now. But okay, so this one I was asking for an experience, and this was Saturday, a couple Saturdays ago, and it was really fast. Okay, this is how it started out, and the other ones I may just talk about in another video, because I need to go take a bath and doing like Truman. Hey, Truman. I don't know if you can see Truman. You want to get in camera? I'm getting hot. It's really not that cold outside, so it's not that cold in the house. What are you doing? This Truman? Truman! I don't know if you can see him. Do you see him? But yeah, so after my hypoglycemia fit, or when I try to heal up or whatever, I'm just really dizzy all the time until my body kind of stabilizes, and then I'm not so dizzy. I'm still dizzy, but not that dizzy. Okay, so this experience started out, it was a couple Saturdays ago, and, okay, it's like I was walking along, I was outside, I was walking to a, I don't know if it was a big, wide river, well, actually, I guess it would have been more like, yeah, I guess it would have been more like a river / lake, pretty wide, and I was walking up to this river / lake, and this was like a virtual reality out-of-body experience, and I looked down, and it was like several feet had receded, several, you know, it was like all dry, sandy, like several, that's funny why he put that in there, but kind of, so I was walking where the water should have been, but for about 5-6 feet, I was walking on where the water had already receded. Like where it was kind of, well, yeah, I guess he copied that from my brain too, because when I drive past that pond, you know, sometimes I think about how, oh, the water had receded like this much. If we haven't gotten any rain, if we got a lot of rain, it'll be, you know, this much higher, that pond down there. And the aliens, they copy all of that and put that in my scenarios. So, that's what he did basically. So I was walking along, and I was just like, probably a good 6 feet, where it was sandy dirt, you know, dry dirt, but the water should have been there, but it had receded. And then boom, once I saw the river, like he put me out right in the middle of the, he's given me experiences like this many times before, on, you know, rivers, lakes, or whatever. He puts me right in the middle of the river, and I'm facing this way, and, okay, so then it's like he put me in a boat, but I don't actually remember seeing a boat or anything. Okay, so then, for some reason, he keeps going backwards with me. Some reason, I gave him the idea that he needs to switch it up sometime, so he started now, in a lot of experiences, he makes me astral travel backwards, but he makes it fun. I don't like going backwards, but now he's been making it, like, now I'm having a blast going, I don't care if I go forwards or backwards, he's making it a blast. So, so then he started traveling with me, he first started traveling with me at probably 40 miles an hour, you know, I started traveling backwards, you know, astral traveling backwards. Oh, no, the first, what I did was when he, took my astral body and put me out in the middle of the lake, a river, I was like, I looked up and I was like, wow. I wasn't traveling yet then. I was just like, wow, I said, this is so beautiful. The scenery is so beautiful. Basically, I was in Mexico. And I'll tell you why he copied that from my brain. But it was this beautiful mountain over here, beautiful mountain, and it was just all beautiful scenery. And first I did that. I was just like, wow, wow. Okay, then he started traveling with me. He started moving me backwards, astral traveling with me at about 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. And then there were some Mexicans over there, like on the shoreline or whatever, like 5 or 6 in these, I don't know, they were in some kind of uniforms. And they had guns. Well, at first I flipped them off. He made me do that before in one of my other scenarios, but yeah, so anyway, I flipped them off, and then they started shooting at me, and I'll get to that later. They started shooting at me, and I actually started feeling the bullets, and then Joel, as I was flipping them off, Joel, since they were kind of coming at me, they were trying to come at me, but come at me like on, the shoreline, and they were shooting at me. Like I said, this experience was a really long experience. So then he started traveling with me backwards. After he started traveling with me at 40, 50 miles an hour, then, he picked up the speed when the Mexicans started shooting at me after I flipped them off. He picked up the speed. I was probably going as fast as an airplane, 600 miles an hour. It was just 600 miles an hour. So I went from like 40 miles an hour. He started traveling with me 40 miles an hour to about 600. And so then I started astral traveling backwards, for quite some time until Joel got me to my destination. Well, so then the destination was, after he got finished astral traveling with me, Joel did or whatever, then he puts me in like a grocery store. And I was walking around and I saw some carts. It was like a Mexican grocery store. And there were some Mexicans standing there, like 5 or 6, and they still had, I don't know, those cop-looking, military-looking uniforms on. And there was one, and there was one, he put one slightly sexual thing, and, when I was in the grocery store, there was one small sexual thing in the grocery store. But I'm going to edit that out. But yeah, when the Mexicans started shooting at me, so basically, like I say, it was a fast experience, but it was still fun. Sometimes he'll give you quick experiences like that. But it was just, the scenery was so beautiful, just mountains. It was just beautiful. And like I say, when I ended up in the grocery store, no Mexicans tried to hurt me or shoot me or anything like that. But when they started shooting at me, I could feel them. And that's why Joel just started astral traveling with me, 600 miles an hour, like faster and faster and faster. He's done that many times before. Placed me on lakes and rivers and stuff. Okay, the reason why Joe copied that was because I did just watch this freaky, demonic movie called Come Out to Play. And it was set in Mexico. It was really in Mexico on a not so popular island. I forgot what it was called. I could go find the information, but so Joe copied that with the Mexicans and stuff. It was called Come Out to Play, and at the end of the movie, there was these Mexicans that had guns and stuff. And but anyway, it was basically a movie about all these little children. They murdered all the adults on the island. So that's why Joel put the guns and the Mexicans shooting at me. And there was some shooting and stuff at the end of the movie. Oh, even in the other parts of the movie. Yeah, so, but there's another experience they gave me many, many years ago. Well, I don't know, probably six years ago, probably. It was probably 6 or 7. And I wasn't really doing videos then, but I don't know if it was Joel that necessarily gave me the experience, but this was 7, 8 years ago. And Because I actually had been to Acapulco before a long time ago when I was 17. I went to Acapulco for a couple weeks, or 2.5 weeks, I think it was, and it was a fun out-of-body experience, virtual reality, somewhat lucid dreamy, and it started off where I felt like actually. But I think what they told me was I wasn't actually in Acapulco. I think back then, because they used to take me to cities, states all the time, countries, and they'll tell me exactly where they program for me to know exactly where I am in the experience. I mean, once the experience starts, I know I'm in Romania or England or whatever. And I'm trying to remember where they told me I was at, because I think it wasn't Acapulco. It was, I think it was Brazil. But anyway, that was a long time ago, but it was it started off I can't remember if I was in a vehicle or if I was astral traveling, but it was beautiful. I saw all the water, and like I said, I knew I was either in whatever they told me I was in, Acapulco, Brazil, and it was long, drawn out. I mean, it lasted quite a while, and I went into a coffee shop because I was really into coffee back then, and I could smell the coffee, and we were about to drink coffee. I think my sister was in it. But anyway, so they've taken me to, Mexico before, so to speak. But that was like a long time ago, and I wasn't really documenting. I wasn't really telling about my lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences back then. But, okay, let's see. See, I have some more to say, but, I wonder if I can talk about one more part. Okay, I guess I could talk about one more real quick. Okay, now I don't think Joel gave me this experience, but it was some reptilian being, I'm sure. And this was more like out-of-body experience, virtual reality experience. Okay, this happened on November 16th. And oh yeah, and I had watched some videos, on YouTube where they were like spraying chemicals on the grapes and stuff. So that's where the alien got this idea from. And yeah, what a sick fuck world we live in. Like if you wash your black grapes, if you wash them in hot water, you put it up your nose and you're like, why the fuck does it smell like shit? It smells like sulfur. And at first I was thinking, oh, maybe the water has a lot of sulfur in it that they rinse the grapes in. And then I forgot about the fact that they spray grapes with sulfur dioxide. And you cannot get that shit off of there either. I actually put the black grapes in vinegar. Like, it was pretty much straight vinegar, at least 80-90%, with a little bit of water added. But I don't know if maybe it'll come off of there quicker, but I let it soak for like 24 hours. And then I kind of washed it, and I wasn't really able to detect a smell of the sulfur dioxide, but I thought it almost smelled like it was trying to ferment, and I don't want to be sitting there and getting drunk, so I gave the grapes to the possum. But I'm not about to buy grapes anymore unless they're those purple organic ones at Aldi's. And I went over there twice, in case my cyborg sense of smell, to make sure it was correct. I went over there twice and picked up the 2-pound organic purple grapes. I prefer the black ones, but apparently they don't come in organic. So, and I smelled them, and I'm like, don't smell any shit smell or sulfur dioxide smell. And then I waited 5 minutes, and I went back there again and kind of smelled them again. But like I say, sometimes it could be kind of tricky. Sometimes it's got to be exact temperature, exact humidity before you start smelling chemical smell and crap. But so I think those will be fine. So I'll probably buy some of those next time I go to Aldi's. But I'm only going to buy the organic ones. Hopefully they'll still be sweet, because that's why I love those black ones. They're so sweet. But if I could maybe try to buy them one more time, the black ones, and just let them soak for about an hour in the vinegar, and straight vinegar, and then hurry up and wash them off, and it won't smell like fermentation or whatever. Maybe I'll try it one more time. I don't know, but the food supply is very scary shit. All you basically could trust is a bag of potatoes and eggs. That's about it. And even the bag of potatoes, I don't really know if you could trust. But I pill mine, 100%. Because I don't know what the fuck is on the pilling, Okay, so anyway. So, so this experience happened on November 16th. I guess I have time to talk about. Okay, I'll try to hurry. Okay, so basically, the alien replicated, this town I was in. It's like I was down there. This is virtual reality. Me and this coworker in real life. Well, I was driving him to work. Me and him were going to work. It was me, and I forgot his name, James. His name was James. I worked with him back a long time ago in true life. So the alien placed him in this scenario, but I haven't seen him in over 10 years. The alien placed him in my scenario, and me. It was me and him in a vehicle, and I was driving him. We were going to work together. And they replicated right up there by the bank, that little, or at least a half mile, to that little half-mile stretch right there before you get to the bank. We were coming along, driving along, and this was all under this out-of-body experience. It's like we were in that area up there, except it felt a little bit different. And so we were driving along, we were going to work, and then all of a sudden I looked up over to my right, and there was a helicopter. I looked up and saw this helicopter. And it was kind of like coming closer. That's not the first time they've done helicopters like this at me either. The helicopter was coming along, and I looked up, and then he was spraying some freaking Roundup type of shit on like glyphosate. He was spraying Roundup type of shit. On I don't know what the hell he was spraying, but all I know is he was spraying it on something down below, like I don't know, like crop or something, and then I was just like, what the hell is he doing? And then he goes like, psh, he started coming at me, like closer in the helicopter, and then it's kind of funny because we're in a car, but yet when he sprayed the glyphosate, it got on me. It got on me, and I even smelled the slight, it was very delicate, slight chemical smell. It didn't gross me out or anything. In the scenario, it was very delicate. I can taste things real good, I can smell things real good under these virtual reality experiences. And so he got it on me. And because he sprayed it from way over there on the helicopter, on purpose. He did it on purpose. And then it got on me, which is kind of funny because we were in a vehicle. But anyway, we must have the windows down. Okay, so, and I was just kind of smelling, and I could smell the chemical smell, but it was delicate. Okay, so then, this part was kind of weird, but then we ended up at work, but this time it's like the alien duplicated Austin, Texas. So I was sitting there, now it's like I'm in Austin, Texas, at work, in the office, and it was my old boss, my old Texas boss, and James, but he was actually in real life, my coworker in Kansas City. So it was me, James, my boss, and a bunch of other employees, and the aliens replicated that exact little kind of area that I used to work in Austin, Texas. And I was sitting there, and I was trying to tell my boss that I had this was funny because I was under this out-of-body experience in bed, and I was trying to tell them, I was like, I just had this weird dream that, this helicopter came and sprayed Roundup on me. And I was thinking, oh, they're probably not going to believe me, But anyway, I told them about my dream. And this was all still under the scenario. And anyway, I was thinking, they're probably going to think I'm crazy and stuff, because I wanted to tell them about that experience I had. But like I said, I was already under the scenario. And then, so that was kind of funny. that I was under the scenario, and yet under an altered state, and then I was like, you know, I was telling them that about the dream I just had, but I was still under the scenario. But it wasn't a dream, it was more a virtual reality out-of-body experience, but I was still under the out-of-body experience and virtual reality experience. Okay, let me see if I missed anything. Hold on. Okay. But yeah, and that experience lasted, well, a non-3D time. It probably felt like it lasted 2 hours at least, 2 or 3 hours, a non-3D time. But yeah, so that's kind of funny. And like I said, I can't remember what the heck was he. I mean, I probably would have, if I would have wrote more details down, I probably would have remembered. But there's not any crops in that area. But he was spraying something, but I don't know exactly what he was spraying. But then he starts flying over at me, and he's spraying down from the helicopter, though. It's kind of funny because, I don't know if they spray, because chemtrail planes is an airplane. But anyway, this is from a helicopter. He was spraying something, but I wasn't the intended target, or he was doing his normal job, and then he decided to target me later, a few minutes later. He started flying at me, and then but he did it on purpose. And so that was one funny out-of-body experience I had. But it was just kind of funny. And that's not the first time either where I was under a virtual reality experience, at Barnes & Noble. This was like complete 3D feeling virtual reality experience at Barnes & Noble. And this is all under the experience, out-of-body experience. I told about the story on one of the videos on YouTube, but where me and my sister were at Barnes & Noble's, and we were in it, we were out of, no, my sister probably wasn't, but I was, out of body. We were having a virtual reality experience, and this was, I was in bed and everything, and then the aliens activated an out-of-body experience. Placed me and my sister at Barnes & Noble's in the cafe, and we laid our heads down. There was some more to it. I forgot what it was, now, but we laid our heads down for, I don't know, it was for quite a long time. And then we woke, we got tired, we woke, 10 p.m. We ended the scenario. We was hanging out in the cafe till 10 p.m. Me and my sister got tired. This was all under the scenario. Me and my sister got tired, and so I said, well, let's just sleep here. So we laid our heads down, and then we woke up at like 6, 7 in the morning. And when we woke up under the scenario, I knew it was like 6 or 7 in the morning. I don't know what it was really time in 3D or whatever, what it was really, the time in 3D. And the that one employee that had been working there 30 years was walking around getting ready to open the store. And that's when I looked at my sister, and I was like, I think we got abducted. And this was all under the scenario. And it was so weird. But, okay, the other ones, I think I'm going to wait till, let's see. This morning, dog. Okay, the other one, okay. The other two, well, I don't know how much time I have. Let's see. Yeah, the other one, I think I'll just do it separate. It'll probably be about 15 minutes. The other one I'll do separate. And then, this other awesome, I can talk about that one real fast. But it was around, November. Yeah, it was around November 16th as well. Where, I was at Lowe's, but it didn't, I don't know, I don't really know if I didn't feel like I was in this town necessarily, but I felt like I was in another town, actually, at a Lowe's, and I had this big, long, drawn-out scenario for hours and hours and hours. For whatever reason, under the scenario, the thoughts were, okay, I could retire any day now, but I wanted to, still get a part-time job. But I still decided to work my full-time job. And so I decided that I wanted a part-time job at Lowe's. And it started out, those thoughts right there. And I was up on like the second level. And I was in a big office, and I was about to be interviewed, and finally there was like 4 men that came up, and they had tables that they came, they were gonna place the tables there and interview me. And one part of the scenario, for whatever reason, I wanted to get a part-time job at Lowe's, and one part of the scenario, I actually was down on the ground level, in the department store area. There was actually an area that was kind of like a department store, and it had clothing and everything, and I was walking around kind of shopping and stuff before I went up to get interviewed. And that's kind of funny because the aliens, they've done that before, that exact same thing, or almost that exact same thing. They put me in department stores where I'm literally at like a Dillard's or something like that, like, walking around shopping, except this time, this was a little small area that was almost like a department store, but it was still in Lowe's. And in real life, Lowe's doesn't have a department store area. But anyway, it was kind of a fun experience. And for whatever reason, I wanted to get a part-time job. And but I knew I could retire any day now, but I still decided to keep my full-time job, but I just wanted another part-time job. And let's see, there's lots of details that I probably already forgotten, because like I say, I've been stressed out. And but anyway, that was kind of fun, in Lowe's and everything. And like I say, this morning was kind of fun. I was walking around Battlefield Mall. Well, and the experience to Lowe's, I mean, I felt like, like the aliens were trying to still, duplicate this town, but I still kind of felt like it felt different, it still felt different than this, so they didn't get that quite right, because I still felt like I probably was in my town, except it didn't feel quite like it under the scenario. Sometimes the aliens are better at getting it right, the exact same energy and everything. But the Lowe's definitely, I mean, they tried to duplicate the Lowe's up there, but it felt, different. Kind of felt, I would say it felt like I was in a different dimension slightly. But it felt a little different than my real town or whatever. But that was fun. And then, and of course, even this morning, the Battlefield Mall, I still felt like, no, it didn't quite feel like 3D reality. It felt like a different dimension. But yeah, I was walking around for hours with my mom, and they've done this many, many times. Placed me in malls and stuff. Okay, so, let's see. The other experience, I think I'm gonna, I don't know what time what time was it when I started? 8 o'clock? Let's see. I think the other one I'm just gonna do separate, and it'll take about 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna do that other one separate, I think, tomorrow or something. But it was fun. It was cool. Yeah, it may take 20 minutes, but it was fun. Yeah, so I'll do that one like tomorrow or something. Here's Truman. Truman. Say bye to the camera, baby. Oh, baby. I gotta go take a bath, Truman.